Family Credit Management is a non-profit credit counseling agency. We specialize in helping people take control of their debt.
People call in every day. By the end of the call, they're feeling better. They know there's some hope out there.
For over a decade, Family Credit Management has helped tens of thousands of Americans deal with the burden of debt.
If you're struggling with debt, the most important thing is to take control of it. Now's the time.
Hey, good evening. We are back for another great season here. My name is Letitia Griffin, and I'm here with you tonight to just talk to you about any issues or problems that you may have regarding debt, regarding credit, regarding budgeting, anything that you have going on. Feel free to call in. You can ask that question and I can answer that for you. And if you do not get the opportunity to call in, let's say we run out of time or we just don't get to your question or you think of it after the show is over, always feel free to call in, and you can call in and speak with a counselor at 800-994-3328. Now, I do have a Family Credit's website. I want you to use that website and use it as a resource. The great thing about the Family Credit website is you can go online and chat directly with a counselor. How great is that? You can talk to a counselor live, get your questions answered, and that way if you don't want to go on air, that's really just a good resource for you to use. You can also use it throughout the week if you've got questions, problems, concerns regarding debt and finances. So we've been away for the past few weeks, and there's been some changes that have gone on within the credit industry, also within the housing industry. So we'll be talking about those over the next few weeks. I do want to point out this weekend, though, at Gary Comer Youth Center, 7200 South Ingleside, is the Open Doors event, which is being sponsored by Freddie Mac. And they've got some great programs out. They can help if you're looking to get a home. If there's some other resources that you may need in the community, this is the perfect place to find them. So feel free to come on out. Gary Comer, 7200 South Ingleside. Also, we talked about tax season so much this last semester, but if you have problems, you still haven't filed, or you just are having problems with setting up payment arrangements, feel free to reach out to the Taxpayer Advocate. You can reach them at 877-777-4778. That's your Taxpayer Advocate, and they will be able to assist you with problems dealing with your taxes, because they're so important and you really can't do anything without having those done. You can't buy a home. Sometimes you need to verify employment. All of those things, they work hand in hand with your income, making sure that everything is correct for your financial picture. So if you've got problems, you need help, feel free to reach out. As I pointed out, there were some changes over the past few weeks that had to do with your credit. So let's touch on some of those a little bit. Over the past few weeks, you may have noticed that your credit score has increased. And that was in part due to some changes that have gone on, that have taken place in the government with the regulations of the credit industry. So with that, what a lot of people are finding is that not only are their scores increasing, but the average score has gone up by 11 points. And that's just for nothing. And why? Those things actually work themselves out. And I told you, you just really do need to stay diligent with looking at your credit report. And guess what? People with lower scores really did see their scores go up without them even doing much of anything. So just imagine if you were to take a look at your credit with where you are now and work on making things better, it'd be better than even before. So also keep that in mind. And about one of the things that happened was the government regulated that with the credit reports, with the collection accounts, there was a way that they could be reported now. So collection accounts are being looked at more closely as they're put onto your credit report. And what do I mean by that is that now they actually have to, there's a time limit that you have to wait for certain accounts to go onto your report, and they have to actually be proven that they're yours. So if they're not, then you can always dispute it. But keep in mind, you want to look at your report. And a lot of people saw that, half of the collections on their reports were automatically removed over the past few months. So it is worth looking at your credit report. Go ahead and get that out. Go to annualcreditreport.com. That is the best place to get your credit report. If you need help with it, if you don't understand it, if you're having problems logging in, you can always reach out to a counselor, 800-994-3328, and then they can pull that report for you and go over it with you. Another thing that was brought up or that was changed over the past few weeks with your credit report is the way that medical bills are reported as well. Now, with medical bills, sometimes you would notice that you would get the calls from your creditors, and then next month it would be reported on your credit report whether you made the payment or not, whether you could afford the balance or not, whether the insurance company has paid it. So now with medical collections, the hospitals, the medical networks, the billing departments, they all have to wait a minimum of 120 days before they can actually report that account on your credit report, which means you've got time to pay it. And if you are paying something on it, just a little bit each and every single month, that's going to make a difference, because now we're pushing that time frame back because you made a payment, so they can't report it. Looks like we've got our first caller. Hi, welcome to the show.
Hi. I've had collection accounts been calling me a lot lately, and they're like 5 years old, but I don't have the money to pay them. Do I have to pay them?
Well, I do want you to be very, very careful about that. A lot of times when you start getting calls from old collections, you have to really sit back and think, hey, do I really owe them or not? A bill could be so old that you don't even remember it. It could seem like it is, but you're really not sure. So when you're talking to that collector, you want to ask them to validate that debt. That means they need to send you something in writing in the mail and make sure that it's your debt. They need to prove that to you. If they cannot prove that, first of all, then eventually it's going to be taken off of your credit report. Another good reason why you are asking them to verify that debt is because it buys you time to figure it out and to see what it is that you want to do about it. Now, when you're looking at your credit report, and we talk about this a lot too, keep in mind your credit report only looks at the last 24 months worth of history. I'm sorry, that's your score. The report, it's got all this information on there, but what's important is the last 24 months worth of history, because that's what your score is determined on. And a lot of times if you rush out and you're thinking, okay, I've got all these old bills, I want to try and pay them off, and you've got some new bills, you've got old bills, it's best to focus on those newer bills, because like I said, last 24 months, so you want to do the most recent first. Anything other than that you want to wait on and have them validated before you try and start paying those off. And could be good and bad to paying those off too. So you want to make sure that you're paying it off. You know that it will affect your credit. It could affect your credit. It could possibly make your score go down. It could make your score go up. It really depends on what your credit situation is and how that affects you. But you need to get proof that it's yours. Don't let them send it to your email. They need to mail it out to your address that they have on file as well, making sure that it's yours. And if not, we are going to use that letter to have it disputed and have it removed from your credit report. So I have actually been dealing with a lot of people that are going through that same thing as well. And there's so many people that are going or becoming victims of fraud or identity theft because they're getting phone calls or harassing emails from people, not necessarily letters, but they may be getting emails that say, hey, you owe us all this money. You need to make this payment right now. We're going to come to your house. We're going to arrest you. Remember, there's no debtor's prisons, but you've got these people out there that are claiming that you owe money. And why do you think that is? They want to scare you into making a payment to them so that they can just collect money the best way that they can. There's so many different scams out there that I do want you to be careful, want you to pay attention. A great resource for you to use is the Financial Protection Bureau at consumerfinance.gov. Also visit privacyrights.org. Now those are two great resources for you. The important thing about them is that they teach you how to monitor yourself. They teach you how to safeguard your information, and they help you do it and you don't have to pay for it. Also keep in mind that there are places out there that say, hey, we can protect your information for $12.95 a month or $30 a month or whatever that cost may be. You don't need to pay someone for something that you can do for free. Just use all your resources around you. Make sure you pay attention to your information and keep it safe. Now, again, be careful about giving your information out online and over the phone to people that you do not know. A few tips that we wanted to go over that I want to share with you is just remember, if you've got someone calling you demanding money or demanding that you verify who you are, let's say they could be posing as like your bank representative. Your bank, if you call them to verify information, you make sure you dial the 800 number off of the statement on the back of the card and use that number only. If you're calling them to verify information, then that's one thing. But if they call you or you get a call from someone claiming to be your bank and wanting you to verify that information, be careful with that. Why? Because they could be scammers trying to get you to give them your information so that they can drain your bank accounts and steal your identity. So be careful with that. Looks like we've got another caller. Hi, welcome to the show.
Hi, I have some student loans and they're coming out of deferment. I can't afford to pay them at this time. Do you have any advice on what I should do for student loans?
Well, I love the fact that you are being so diligent and trying to get ahead of this before anything even happens. And the best thing that you can do with dealing with student loans is stay in contact with your lender. These student loan companies, they have so many different programs that we are able to work with that you can set up arrangements with that want to work with you. You just need to call them and do the work. So, first thing you want to do, contact them, let them know what's going on. You know that your deferment is coming up, and you also know that you cannot afford the payment. Now, you may need to submit some information to them as far as like your paycheck stubs, how much you're actually making. They may ask for your tax returns. You will have to verify some information and send that to them. But what they are going to do is set you up with a repayment plan that works for your budget. Now, they've got different terms that they use. They can do an extended plan, which they stretch out your student loans for years and years, up to 25 years, and it will allow you to make payments on that. There are also other options which a lot more people are using, which are the income-based repayment plans. And those plans are really, really tailored to fit whatever your income may be. So even if you don't have any income or you're on fixed income, you can structure your payment plans and you're paying little of nothing, so that if you do pay something, it really will go towards that loan and help getting that balance down. But in the meantime, sometimes they set your payments as low as $0. But you want to make sure you keep that plan in place and that you're talking to them, and that anytime that plan is supposed to be renewed, take the steps to make sure that you renew it. Student loans, they do affect your credit report as well. And a lot of people struggle with student loans that are past due or showing past due on your credit report because they don't even give the lenders a call. So you do want to stay on top of it. Make sure you call them, let them know your situation. And you want to see what options are out there ahead of time before you get to that point. Did you know that if your student loan is showing past due and you set up an income-based repayment plan on it, 9 times out of 10, that creditor will be able to bring your account to a current status as soon as you start that repayment plan. That's going to do wonders for your score, especially if you're showing past due. So you want to make sure that you do the work and work out those arrangements with those lenders. Each lender is different though, so keep that in mind too. If you are looking for a listing or you're not sure who you owe, you think you've got so many student loans out there, you're not sure where to go, go to the U.S. Department of Education, to their website. And what they can do is provide you a listing of all the student loans that you have, be it public or private. They've got it listed. They keep track of that information, just like the credit bureaus keep track of your credit. Well, U.S. Department of Education keeps track of those student loans that are out there for you, and they can send you a printout detailing everything on it. They'll show you when you took it out, who it was from. If you consolidated it before, they'll give you the full history. So start there. Now, if you were thinking about getting your credit report, like I said, best place to go, annualcreditreport.com. You need student loan paperwork, U.S. Department of Education. If you are having problems with getting a checking account and you don't know what to do, you don't know why you can't open up a bank account, you would want to look into your check systems report too. And we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Looks like we've got another caller. Hi, welcome to the show.
Hi there. I'm struggling with my utility payments every month. Where can I get assistance for those?
Well, if you are struggling with your utilities, I do want you to go to LIHEAP's website, and they will provide you assistance based off of your budget and your income. And in certain areas throughout the city, throughout the suburbs, LIHEAP is open and they're accepting applications. Best place for you to start. And a lot of times LIHEAP may point you to CETA, which is another resource here in the city of Chicago. So look at that. If you're still struggling with your utilities, or you find out that you do not qualify for those types of assistance programs, then I want you to reach out to the utility companies and see what type of assistance they offer. A lot of times utility companies, they have in-house programs that you can come on, and they have budget plans. Now, with the budget plan, what they do is they look at your history of how you use energy, be it your lights or gas, even phone. They look at how you use it, what months are more, and they take an average for you, and you can start paying your bills based off of that. A lot of times it will save you a lot of money, plus it will establish some consistency in the bills that you pay as well, so you know what to expect. There's no guesswork. There's no influx in fees. You know exactly what you're supposed to pay each and every single month. Another thing you can look at is see what type of assistance programs the utility companies also have in place. A lot of the utility companies, they have a sharing program, which what they will allow some of their customers to do is they can contribute more each and every single month to be able to provide a benefit to you. So when you have problems, when you have issues, when you can't make your payments, you can call and see if you qualify for assistance where someone else has already paid too much, and they're willing to share that and pass that on to you. That benefit will come in handy a lot. So look around and see what other resources are available, and you can check the townships or other city programs to see if they offer assistance as well. If you guys questions, again, feel free, reach out to a counselor. You can reach a counselor at 800-994-3328, and they can assist you with establishing looking at your credit, with what other resources are in your area, and what programs are available to you. So use that as a resource. Another thing that I wanted to touch on is some people are struggling because they feel like they have no credit, bad credit, or low credit. And those things do exist, but it's something that you can overcome. You do need to talk to your financial institution. If you've got a banking relationship, it's great for you to reach out to them and see what type of credit rebuilding products do they have in place that will help you. Another thing you can look at doing is getting a secured account, which we'll talk about a little bit later on as well. And then you can also see what other products you can find that will help. One thing that I want you to caution though, one small tip that I want to pass on is whatever you do with your credit, whatever things that you're looking to improve, you want to make sure that they report to the credit bureau. So if we're looking at that secured card or that secured account, then yes, we want to make sure that they report to the credit bureau. Reason why I stress that so much is that there are people that get confused when they're looking at these different options, and so they may go out there and they may get like a debit card and think that it's supposed to help rebuild credit, but it's just a card that they saw online, someone posted it out there and they thought it was a great idea, but it's so full of fees and it really does nothing for your credit at all. So you do want to make sure that they report to the credit bureaus. The great resource for you to do that, start by looking at bankrate.com. They've got a calculator which will help you find out the best credit rebuilding products for you, the best credit cards for you, and you do it based off of what you're looking for. That way you're not being taken advantage of. Again, talk to your financial institution, see what they offer as far as secured cards go as well. Now, when we talk about a secured card, what it is you are actually saying, okay, I want a credit card, but I don't know any other way to get it. If I apply, I'll get turned down. I don't want to get turned down. I've just been turned down, so let me look at some other options. Maybe you've got $200 that you've saved. So you take this $200, you take it to the bank, and they give you a credit card based off of the $200 that you're putting in. So they're taking the $200 and using it as collateral to secure the account. So that way, if you default on this credit card account with the $200, Your limit will be $200. If you don't make those payments, they have a security with that $200. They can take that $200 and close the account out, and everything will be fine. But let's say you are able to make your payments on it each and every single month. So you've got this secured card that you're making payments on, and you're doing good. You're making sure that they're reporting to the credit bureau, and they are really improving your score. Making your payments on time, which is the number one thing that you should be doing. And things are looking up for you. So after you've made like 6 to 12 months of on-time payments, a lot of times the banks will take that $200 that you've used to secure that with and give it back to you, which makes the card unsecured at that time, and it becomes just like a regular credit card. Every single month you'll be making your payments. You can use it for purchases, and it's a real credit card. No one will have known that it started off as a secured account. So you can use that as a way to boost your credit or to improve your score if you're having problems establishing credit, and then you can go from there. Most of the times after you've shown that you've got some type of positive reporting on your report, and it's counteracting any negatives that will be there, or it's counteracting the fact that there's nothing there, it's making things so much better for you, then you're able to get other types of credit. You just have to show that you can use it responsibly. And again, credit is all about being disciplined and making sure that you modify your behavior and you are able to follow and discipline yourself to make the payments each month, to keep those accounts positive, and to stay under the credit limits, which is really, really important to us as well. And it looks like we've got another caller. Hi, welcome to the show.
Hi, I have a question.
Okay.
I currently don't have a credit score, and I can't get anything that I apply for. What would you say would be the best way to help me with that?
Okay. So we really appreciate your question. Great question. We were just talking about some ways to do that with the secured cards. So that would be something that will work perfectly for your situation. So like she explained, she tried to get credit and she wasn't able to. So that's why these secured cards would come into place. You can also looking at doing a secured loan with your credit, with your bank or financial institution if you're using a credit union, wherever they may offer. Look at doing a secured loan too, because they have the same principle as a secured credit card. Basically, you would put some money down, make payments on it each and every single month, and they report that to the credit bureau. That's the important thing. The number one thing, you want to make sure that these accounts are being reported to the credit bureau. And when you apply or when you call and you want to sign up for something like that, ask them, say, hey, do you report to the credit bureau? And then go one step further and say, which bureaus do you report to? Because a lot of times they will just say yes, and they may just report to one. But you really want them to report to all three. So make sure you ask that question, ask that information, get the answers that you need. As always, take down the name of the person that you talk to, keep that information in line, and when you get that account, use it responsibly, use it wisely, and make sure it's improving your score. If something's going wrong, stay in contact with your creditor. Just like I always tell you, let them know what's going on, because you don't want that account closed out. You want to make sure that that account is in good standing. And a lot of times those creditors will reverse. If you've got something going on, let's say you get a one-time late fee, they may even reverse that for you as a one-time courtesy. So we'll talk about some more tips, some more ways, some more things that we can do to improve our credit, to be empowered, to stay on top of our financial situation, and to do better. We'll talk about some of those things next week. I'll also update you with what's going on in the area and what things you can do to make your economic situation better. So if you've got some questions, feel free to reach out. Family Credit, 800-994-3328. They are always available on standby. Counselors ready to talk to you, answer your questions. Use them as a resource because they are there for you. And again, if you've got any other questions, feel free to write them down. Share with us next week. We'll be back same time. Talk to you then. Take care.